Okay, namaskar everybody. We are back. That means Gl- Global Dharma Online Sangoshti. There was a gap of several months because of a scheduling issue. So we hope to continue this series. With great pleasure, we welcome Professor Shiv Chaturvedi back. We had many great sessions by Professor Chaturvedi ji, especially one on Murti Puja was very well received, and we got enlightened on that. But today's topic, uh,
इतना आलू डाल के बना और मटर पनीर बनाने के लिए सोच रहे थे।
okay, Shivji, can you unmute yourself? Shivji, you need to unmute, please.
I'm okay now.
Yes, you're good. So, welcome back, Professor Chaturvedi ji. Today's topic is very important because it's one of the issues that has of great contemporary relevance. It's not just in India alone. Even in the US now there is seems to be a contemporary, even a legal issue, and there is a lot of confusion on this. For instance, I'll just illustrate this with an example. In one of the past sessions, there was a person of great eminence who said that Hindu kids in the US don't know what caste system is, don't know what jatis and varnas are. So this issue of jati is not of any relevance. So think about that. The person, and with all the sincerity, um, he is presuming um, the guilt or some kind of a guilt, and then he is absolving all the Hindus of the US, especially the second generation, of not having anything to do with caste system. But then, does anything like American Hinduism exist as a separate religion? Or you can see the separation that that particular statement is causing in the discourse. So we need to have clarity on this. There are a lot of people who will come up with some kind of alibis that the British did this or did that. You know, of course, there has been colonial influence, but did the British actually create the Jati Vyavastha or Varna Vyavastha or caste system? There are in some quarters even people say that they look at the origin of the word caste or caste from Portuguese. Now that that is technically correct, but does that mean Portuguese came and started the caste system? So we have to answer these questions. One of the great problems in this discourse is the ability, first the understanding, and then the ability to communicate to the outside world. What is this? And that's what Professor Chaturvedi ji will enlighten us on. And it's aptly titled Vedic Varna Ashram Yog Dharma, Jati and Caste, a critical chintan under contemporary living grounds. So that title itself has a lot of weightage in it. So again, welcome back, Professor Chaturvedi ji, and let you guide us on this very important topic.
Om Shri Gurubhyo Namo Namaha. Om Angirasaya Namo Namaha. Kapilaya Namo Namaha. Gargaya Namo Namaha. Om Shri Radha Krishnabhyam Namo Namaha. Om Samast Matra Shakti Namo Namaha. I bow down to every one of you, the distinguished audience, my deep gratitude my humble pranam to everyone. A special thanks to Rajiv ji that he is going to help us to make this journey I call the Tirth Yatra into the Vedic world. So jointly we are going to take this Tirth Yatra. In this Tirth Yatra, we will meet trees, bushes, flowers, mountains, rivers, valleys, all the beauty and all the ugliness, totality that we are going to meet. Also, in this is a upfront I want to tell you about. This is a first lesson. It's going to be mini course. It may run into 10, 12 sessions like this one. And the subject matter is very, very large, very, very deep, very, very broad, very, very historical. So we have to make sure I'm going to cut down and trim it to the basics and ideas and what are relevant today. How we can correlate, how we can look at it, the foundational ideas, and how, what is the theoretical foundation, वैचारिक भूमि क्या है, और उसका मूर्त स्वरूप आज क्या हो गया है. So we are going to look at this as we progress. So I beg your pardon. I am going to follow the slides here. And this is the preamble that I'm going to talk about first. The Vedas, if you go back to old Charvaks and many others, they calling themselves non-Hindus, they talked about and declared that these Vedas are the books of filth and nonsense created by the most stupid people. That's the statement you can hear, and you can go back and read. It's still very much in vogue in certain circles. Look at the most latest statement about the Rig Veda. For all those who believe in the white head, Alfred North Whitehead, he was the professor of philosophy at the Harvard University, most prestigious, most renowned and celebrated philosopher, Alfred North Whitehead, who is considered to be the last disciple of Platonic philosophy, Platonic tradition. And he wrote about it that the philosophy of the West, starting from Greeks till today, is nothing more than what a footnote to Plato. But then Professor Antonio de Nicolas, the great philosopher of Vedic wisdom in New York University, I've had several communications past several years ago with him. He wrote a book on Rig Veda. And the foreword of that book was written by Professor Patrick Heelan, who recently died a few years ago, an authority on quantum logic and professor of philosophy at New York University. And he wrote that if you believe in Whitehead that the entire Western philosophy is not more than a footnote to Plato, then I proclaim that the Plato and the West are themselves extended footnotes to Rig Veda. These are the two fundamentally antithetical opposite statements, one by Charvaks or the cohorts at that time, and otherwise modern quantum logician. So the difference, the contrast, and those who Charvaks or all other cohorts making adverse and meaningless comments in those times, even did not read the Vedas, did not understand the Vedas. So these are the contrasting views. So we are going to take another preamble, prastavana to this talk, my dear friends. So bear with me. The Mahabharata Shanti Parv. There is no superior Varna. Here, the universe's work of immense being, the beings created by him were only divided into Varnas according to their aptitude. This is the Mahabharata Shanti Parv. So, and keep in mind the word, there is no superior Varna. Superiority, inferiority, valuation appears in the Mahabharata very extensively. We are going to look at it later on in different sessions. But right now, here are the two contrasting situations, very, very interesting. Ambedkar's rejection of Hinduism. I have to read one with you. A majority of Indians profess this faith. However, fundamental scripture, the Manusmriti and the Vedas advocate caste system as a divine institution, which led to the suffering of the lower classes. Ambedkar condemned Hinduism in its annihilation of caste as a religion of rules, compendium of rituals, regulations, which are based on the caste ideology of hierarchy and untouchability. And he goes on, he concluded that this religion must be destroyed, and there is nothing wrong in working for the destruction of such a religion. He emphasized that the people must be enabled to realize that what they are told was not religion, but that was really law and evolution, and the amendment must be earned. This was the Ambedkar writing on his essay a long time ago, Annihilation of Caste. One viewpoint. Another viewpoint, more recent one, is the Vedic classics tells us that each human being has a capacity of all four varnas or human types. Just as we all share the same type of human body and its different limbs. Each person is potentially a Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Sudra. Varna divisions were based on individuals' temperament, quality, aptitude, and mental state, but in later times it got merged with birth alone. Later, the complexity got more severe and the advent of caste system developed. This is hence the original Varna system was quite flexible, in which one's Varna could be changed based on one's skill and was not fixed as it is often understood. This is the recent paper published by someone called Nitin Chandal on a historical review. He's a PhD scholar, Department of History, University of Jammu, Jammu and Kashmir, India. And this has been published in 2018, volume 3, issue number 6. Very long review, historical review. And this is the latest statement. So you see the very contrasting, mutual antithetical, and exclusive statement. What are the vision and goals of this course? Some new ideas and paradigms will be introduced, such that these lessons can be a source of further research and expansions. A broader spectrum of audience, such as students, teachers, advocates, activists, Dharma upholders, protectors can be benefited. Time to time, as the appropriate non-Vedic ideas may also be introduced in order to compare and contrast with. The following important issues will be addressed: Jati system, caste system, race, and their comparative assessment, birth-centered versus karma-centered versus guna-karma-centered paradoxes and potential resolution, foundational principles of ashram system and one ashram system and their assessment, parallelism with contemporary scientific fields dealing with the human nature-nurture debate, as well as with the Western social sciences, critical thoughts on caste-based preferential government policies in Indian context, and critical thoughts on parallelism with the corresponding American race-based policies. These are in nutshell broader themes that we are going to explore together during this course. The caution, the topic is most complex, multidimensional, multi-layer, multi-valued. It is a controversial, confusing, socially, historically, politically charged. Topic is ill understood and misunderstood by and large. Lessons are designed not as a part of ideological constructions such as Indological frameworks or Oriental studies framework, but will follow the Vedic Sanatana Dharmic foundational grounds. The articulation narration that I'm going to use will use Sanskrit terminology, as the most basic terms are untranslatable as one-to-one English language. However, attempts will be made to elucidate them as much as possible. The presentation is not comprehensive with all the analytical rigor and logic stretched to the extreme. However, it will focus on providing enough depth and breadth to learn about the essential aspects. Beginning, we are going to introduce the primary doctrines of Srishti, classification, categorization, introducing the doctrine of yogic integrated images of all the plurality, diversity of cosmos, sentient and as well as insentient, origin of social classification, and as we go along, meaning of the term varna, primary characteristics of each varna, and continue. Each lesson will have its own introduction, and we may not be able to cover all those in one topic. Then we'll continue in this next session. So this also, I want to ask for your forgiveness in advance with my folded hand to the audience. I have some bad habits. Number one, I do not use sugar-coated language. Number two, I will use authentic understanding that I have come across after my sadhana for last 40 years, coming to United States of America directly from IIT Kanpur, trained in the applied sciences and mathematics, went to different universities, but I'm basically born in a small village where I did not know how to read or write English. And as I will go along, I will tell you what the some of the anecdotes that I have gone through. And you are free to call me a illiterate bucolic or gamar dehati. I will love to hear those words, because those words have been used even at the level when I was doing graduate studies at IIT Kanpur by a few of the elite faculty trained in America and Europe. Let's start with the journey, with the images. A lot of images appeared in the Vedas to begin with, and entire Vedic Bangama. And you notice here I am using the term Sanatan Yoga Dharma Kshetra. Sanatan Dharma term itself had to be expanded, unlocked. It was compressed at time, And as I go along, I will be able to address those when questions are asked. Two central images here at this moment. There are many other images. Srishti is the process of emanation, not a creation. And two images appear in the Vedas. One is the tortoise. You see the top right. Other one is the spider web. Tortoise is a picture deals with what you call the original being, original entity, the supreme. You can call it Brahman, supreme Brahman. As a tortoise, he unfolded the universe around him. He was all alone. Universe around him is just like the tortoise protruding out its limbs, moves around and creates its own world, and then finally the limbs goes back and remain stand still. That's the emanation. Another one is the spider web. Have you seen a spider web? Beautiful, beautiful. A spider creates the universe around itself, himself or herself. The web coming out, thread coming out from the mouth, creates the web, plays it out, and then you can swallow it back, move to another location. And by the way, from a material point of view, you will be surprised to note the strongest material available at this moment in time is the thread material of this spider web thread. And people, scientists are trying to mimic that in lab and see if they can succeed. Strongest material, strongest than platinum, steel, or any material you can. Diamond is stronger than diamond. That's another very wonderful. And also the web concept became very much the concept that we are dealing with called the webinar. Look at the images, which are so prominent and so valid, so wonderful, beautiful. World Wide Web, and all the flowcharts and ideas and the modern sciences and humanities, when they're talking about the connectivity, interconnectivity, this really the original image of the spider web. So go further, then keep on moving to the founding principle, the Bhagavad Gita, Purush Prakriti Purushottam. Purushottam became Mamaivanso Jiva Loke Jiv Bhuta Sanatana Para Prakriti Apara Prakriti. Para Prakriti je Purusha Sarup, Apara Prakriti Prakriti Sarup. And yogic union of Purusha and Prakriti and Purushottam as Ishvara or Antaryami constitute all the living bodies, natural world, and cosmos. That's the unified view, big picture. Nothing is excluded. And this picture also becomes this picture. Look at the Charak Samhita. A human body with all its complications, all its complexity, all its layer, all its Bahusarup, all its multidimensionality. And individual is epitome of the universe, as all the material and non-material phenomena of the universe are present in individual, and all those present individual are also contained in the universe, Charak Samhita. These are the most wonderful, beautiful principle, and that's what we call Sanatan. Nothing is extruded. Everything, whether you have the most evil actions or whether we have most enlightened actions, evil living or enlightened living, we will talk about as we go along, contained within these images. So, in short, the one called the Brahman became many in all, including the natural world and cosmos. This is called the emanation, Srishti, not the creation model of Jewish, Christian, and Islamic religion. It's not the creation in the sense of Abrahamic traditions. And also after creation, Brahman entered into his own Srishti. He will sustain his own Srishti, and finally he will dissolve his own Srishti. Yet he remained ever and beyond the ever cycles. And this is called his Leela, the divine will, divine playful activity. That's how Srishti came into existence. भगवान कृष्ण गीता में कहते हैं, मैं ही सत हूं, मैं ही असत हूं, मैं न सत हूं, मैं न असत हूं, मैं सत और असत से परे हूं. All had to be said together. All had to be recited together, chanted together. Otherwise, the story remains incomplete. And here is the contrasting Abrahamic religious tradition. Who is the creator? This is the creation phenomena. A creator is just like a watchmaker. This is a famous image in the Western tradition. Total and permanent separation between the watchmaker and his creation watch. Once you finish the watch, you are no longer the watch. You have no connections, no fundamental separation has taken place. This is called deism. Most of the founding fathers of the American Republic, they were deists. They did not really believe wholeheartedly with the Judeo-Christian tradition. Deism plus personal relationship through faith only, knowledge is not there, wisdom is not there, alone is the monotheism of Abrahamic religions. So when we say Sanatan Dharma, when we compare with the religion, Dharma became religion, that's the greatest tragedy. And politically, that tragedy happens in 1946 to 1950 in what you call the independence of India from colonial rule, British monarchy. And I call that not independence, but the political power transfer from White Sahib to Brown Sahib. And the greatest tragedy that happened, that the entire Vedic wisdom tradition in totality has been thrown into Department of Religion and totally ignored, ridiculed. I was not even taught the Sanskrit language beyond 10th grade. You are not allowed to take. So I will not go into details here on the other religious traditions. When the question asked, we'll talk about it. But the fundamental separation between God and the universe. God does not reside. Another very important thing I was talking about, the tragedy in our Sanatana Dharma tradition is this, when we translated the Atman or Purusha as the soul and the spirit. And I have published the papers. I have presented in the conference several, since 94, 96, I have been lecturing on this. And here is some of the idea I'm talking about. And the soul and spirit had nothing to do with Atman. Soul is Ro in Hebrew, Latin anima spiritus, in Greek psyche and pneuma, in German nous and Geist, In Old Testament, the Nepis appears more than 754 times. In New Testament, it became soul or spirit, the Greek psyche, which was imposed on the tradition, soul tradition was imposed by the what you call one of the saints in 6th century on the Christianity. So you have a good souls, beautiful soul, deep souls, large souls, wicked souls, all kinds of foolish souls, food souls, physical therapy for souls. There is some overlap between Quran and Bible. Ruh is also the breath of life. Basically, you are alive, so you have a soul. That's what it is. And in fact, in Christian tradition, Judeo-Christian tradition, the woman never used to have soul, because soul is called the intelligence, and women never have to have intelligence. Here we have talked about Purusha and Atma. All the living entities have Atman within there. So this is another tragedy that happened when we mistranslate or the words and ideas which do not belong to the Vedic tradition. I will not go further. Spirituality, whenever we use the word spirituality, this is related to psyche, and nothing to do with Atman or Adhyat. I do not use that in that term. I'm not going to go more. We'll come back in case. So let's have a beginning where this classification and categorization start from. And this is a quite quoted, very popularly quoted when you talk about the caste, modern day caste. This is the quite quoted hymn, Purush Sukta. It appears in Rig Veda, Atharvaveda, Yajurveda, it appears in many other places, but this is the original first time appear in Rig Veda, supposed to be the oldest Veda. There used to be only one Veda. If you look at the Mahabharata times, if you look at the Bhagavatam, there was only one Veda, which was then divided up, compiled into 4 Vedas. Why and how, I'm not going to talk about today. But let's look at the Purush Sukta, Rig Veda 1090. And I'm going to read through. There are 16 hymns here, and quickly read through, and then we'll go ahead and talk about this. Purush has 1,000 heads, 1,000 eyes, 1,000 feet. He embraced the earth on all sides, and beyond, reached beyond a distance, 10 fingers, and all these classification you can see here, which surpasses the ritual offering the food. Purusha even more than this. All creatures comprise 1/4 of him, 3/4 are in the immortals, in the Divyalokas. Then keep on going. 3/4 of Purusha ascended, 1/4 remained here. Here, not her. From his fourth, he spread out in all directions, both animate, inanimate thing. From him was Viraj born. It's a very, very complicated, complex, many layers, many dimensions. I can spend the whole 6 months talking about only this 1090. And you will see here the different rishis were born. So the whole Purush became divided up, and from each of the limbs the existence came out to be. That's the nutshell here. And here, if you go on, and here how many parts did arrange, and all the creatures are born, and you can see on all big. And here the number 12, His mouth became the Brahman. His two arms were made into Kshatriyas. His thighs produced the Vaisyas. His feet became the Sudras. There are a long, long history of interpreting number 12 in the entire 1090. I'm not going to go into it, but this is where we are. His mouth became Brahman, his two arms became Kshatriyas, his thighs produced the Vaisyas, his feet became the Sudras. So keep that in mind, and I think most of you are familiar with this. I'm not going to dwell upon, but this keeps on going. I'm just noting you. This is the multidimensional polymorphous term yagna, which translated here is sacrifice, only a superficial one-dimensional. However, this is how it has appeared in multi-mode communication channel, including academic scholarship. So I will use the word yagna rather than sacrifice. Yagna is the form of Agni, in the form of Agni, the central image of the Vedas. And the creative classes of Vedic society, including Kavis, patrons, and priestly classes. In the Vedas, the Agni is the central image of the Vedas, Yagna. Agni has all the dimensions. I have presented the paper in international webinar also, how we have understood and how we have understood the concept of Agni Dev. So here it is a Agni with all the three dimensions, Adidevic, Adhyatmic, Adibhautik, is designated as the thread spinner, spider with the Agni's birthplace and altar, the Yagnasala. Creating a soft web, the sun is the seers who spun the web with 7 threads, 7 rays of suns. And Agni and sun are as the Adityas, impelling all things and the Vishwarupa. Agni Dev तीनों लोकों में व्यवस्थित है, सन लोक में, सूर्य देव में, अंतरिक्ष में, इलेक्ट्रिसिटी आप देख ही रहे हैं, और इस धरातल पर अग्नि के रूप में, और इस शरीर के अंदर जो है electromagnetism going on. And actually the Agni Dev, all its Swarupa, Adhyatmic, Adidevic, Adibhautik, contains all the radiation phenomena. And the radiation has become the primary vehicle of communication with other worlds. Communication of information is only through Agni Swarupa. And that's why the Agni Swarupa also through mantra communicates with the Divyalokas. What a wonder, what a beauty, what a unity. I'm not going to address today, but just to give you flavor as I go along. And I become crazy, I get lost here and there in elaboration at every aspect. One Purusha became all and everything, entire cosmos with all its plurality, diversity, and complexity. The one became many in all. The process system includes differentiation, expansion, measured growth and organization, dismemberment, classification, as well as yogic integration. Hymn 12 is the social classification stated. However, there is no relative ranking is given in the 1090. There is no relative ranking given, and I will tell you later on why, how we could misunderstand so much by putting the Sudras at in the ranking at the lowest. This is the one-dimensional thinking which has gone into our own psyche for a long, long time, and this has to be thrown out. Whole Purusha body is sacred. And this is the basis for the statement, whole universe is Divya Sarujiro Purusha. ये सारा यूनिवर्स भगवान का दिव्य स्वरूप है, तो ब्राह्मण भी दिव्य हैं, उनके ब्राह्मण स्वरूप भी, मुख भी जो है दिव्य है, उनकी बाहु जो छत्री हैं वो भी दिव्य स्वरूप हैं, वैश्य भी दिव्य स्वरूप हैं और शूद्र भी दिव्य स्वरूप है, दिव्यता। और आप देखेंगे आगे इस the particular object entity within the classified scheme may fall into 2 or more categories. Particular objects and entities may move around within the categories. These schemes do not have rigid boundaries, can shrink, end, or expand. The new classification categorization are permitted with changing circumstances. काल चक्र के अनुसार हम इन कैटेगरीज क्लासिफिकेशन को बदल सकते हैं, चेंज कर सकते हैं और जो है उसके नई कैटेगरीज क्लासिफिकेशन दे सकते हैं. What has happened? Pollution, corruption, uprooting can take place also due to continuous active role of the field of adharma and ajnana. अधर्म क्षेत्र और अज्ञान क्षेत्र ज्ञान और धर्म क्षेत्र के साथ साथ जो है कंचे पैदा होते हैं, साथ साथ रहते हैं और साथ साथ जो है कंचे अव्यक्त में चले जाते हैं और सत असत साथ साथ हैं और इसका it has a greater consequences later on as we discussed the situation. So let's look at here. This is in the Brahmano vastu mukhamasi bahu rajan krataha uru tadas tadat vaishyam padabhyam sudro ajayata. Okay, this is the very famous from social point of view, stratification point of view. And my dear friend, this is the Anustuk Chand, and my dear friend, Chanda has this, if I had to talk about this particular Chanda or any other Gayatri mantra or Chandra, my goodness, this will entire take for several weeks to work on it, because this Chanda means it contains in a compressed file all the information. The time is there because the matras are there, the measurement is there, the time is embedded, the poetry is embedded, the kavi is embedded. Oh my goodness, several dimensions are embedded within it. They have to be unfolded. I'm not going to look at today, but I just give you immense. And the next one is Nabhya. So you can see very important here. From his navel, the antariksh came. A sky rose from his head, and from feet the earth. Oh ho. बहुत अद्भुत. जिन पैरों पर सूत्रों का वास है, सूत्र प्राकट हुआ, उन्हीं पैरों से अर्थ प्राकट हुई. और अर्थ मेरी जो है कंचे देवी है, मेरी माता है, जिनकी हम रोज प्रार्थना किया करते हैं. मातृदेवो भव, पितृदेवो भव. जिस पृथ्वी सूक्त अलग से दिया गया है, जिसमें पृथ्वी के गुणगान किए गए. विदाउट द एग्जिस्टेंस ऑफ द अर्थ वी डू नॉट, द लाइफ डज नॉट एग्जिस्ट. And this is also discussed in Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. Now they are giving you another. In the beginning was the Brahman, the only one. It created still the most excellent Kshatriya power. And among Kshatriya power were the Indra, Varuna, Soma, Rudra, Prajnanya, Yama, Mrityu, Isan. Therefore, nothing beyond the Kshatriya. Therefore, at the Rajasu Yagna, Brahman sits down below the Kshatriya. He confers that glory on the Kshatriya alone. Now, Brahman जिनको हम वैल्यू कर रहे थे सबसे ऊपर रहेंगे. जब राजसु यज्ञ होता है, क्षत्रिय ऊपर बैठते हैं, ब्राह्मण नीचे बैठते हैं. See how the categories keep taking different positions. Now go further. He was not satisfied. The Brahman was not satisfied. He created the Vaishya people. And classes of devas which are in different orders are called Vasu, Rudra, Aditya, Vishnudeva, Maruti. They became the Vaishya. He was not satisfied and complete. He created Sudra Varna as the Pushan, nurser. As this earth verily is Pushan, nurser. And for the earth nurses all this whatsoever. And you will find out that the 4 major organs space within divine body of Virat, multitude of entry emerging from each corresponding to equivalence and homologies. Not one entity appear from one portion of the body. Because remember, one became many. I have to reintegrate all the cosmic entities, including the human beings in different domains, including the social domain, for only Grahast Ashram. Oh, we'll talk about later. Sudra and Mother Earth from his feet, foundational entity, remaining three will lose their significance. अगर शूद्र और मदर अर्थ जो पैरों से जिनका जन्म हुआ, जो पैरों में स्थित हैं भगवान के, वो भी दिव्य हैं, अगर वो किसी समाज की फाउंडेशन नहीं है तो वो समाज जो है कहना चाहिए all other varnas will lose their significance. They do not exist. All entities are the organs, all are divine. The value of each of them integrally dependent on the whole. All go together. All are the part and parcel of Purushottam. This is the return to unity within differentiated diversity. Sudra Earth is the most exalted, the foundation of collective existence. This is what the fundamental idea is. That's what the basic 1090 is about. Reintegration. I have to have all the components put together and rebuild the Sarira of the Purusha. And this is where the rebuilding takes place the first time in the Yagna. And that's the Yagna we are talking about. और यज्ञ में आप जो वेदी बनाते हैं, जो सुपर्ण जो है स्वरूप बनाते हैं, और जो पूरी यज्ञ वेदी का जो स्वरूप है, which is a reintegration because differentiation has taken place. सब अलग अलग चले गए हैं, सब सेपरेट हो गए हैं, उनको रीइंटीग्रेट कैसे किया जाए, यही योग स्वरूप है, यही योग। सारा ब्रह्मांड श्रीमद् भागवत में जो है कहा गया है, सारा ब्रह्मांड भगवान का प्रथम अवतार है। ओ देखिए, ये हम विचारधारा जो है इसको कर रहे हैं, और अब हम जो है कहना चाहिए, देखिए थोड़ा एक और दो स्लाइड जाते हैं, अगर राजीव जी की जो है परमिशन हो हमें, और उसके बाद विराम करते हैं। So Adidev Adhyatma Adivot. A given example, Ashwini Kumar is the Adidev Sarup. Adhyatma Sarup is the sense of smell. Adibhut Sarup is the nose, physical nose. Vishnu Adidev Sarup, Adhyatma sense of motion. जितनी गति है वो विष्णु स्वरूप में है, और फीट में भगवान विराजमान है। विष्णु का स्वरूप कहाँ है? पैरों में। और शूद्रों का स्वरूप कहाँ है? पैरों में। पृथ्वी का स्वरूप कहाँ है? पैरों में। और ये तीनों पूज्य हैं, ये तीनों पूज्य हैं, अपनी अपनी जगह स्थान पर लेते हैं, अपने अपने कर्म और गुण के अनुसार, अपनी अपनी कॉन्टेक्स्ट संदर्भ के अनुसार। कभी कोई नीचे बैठेगा तो कभी कोई जो नीचे बैठा है आज ऊपर होगा, जो ऊपर बैठा है वो आज नीचे होगा। चेंज ऑफ लोकेशन वैल्यू। नोटिस हियर, भगवान विष्णु एट द फीट rather than Sudra. Okay, now I will stop here at this slide if I could, because I think already we have taken about 50 minutes. You have a permission, Rajiv ji?
Yes, please go ahead.
You have a permission. Let me escape here. And I think we are ready for questions.
So you have to raise your hand and I'll unmute you. Or you can unmute yourself.
Just to want to make sure that, you know, I would invite restrict questions to the today's talk. Because there are hundreds of questions you will come up with, wonderful, beautiful, that will be covered eventually in the following sessions. So if you restrict to this questions to this session, I will be so much grateful, and otherwise it will be out of place, and many of the audience may be lost because of the prerequisite. You know, we do not have, most of them may not have the background that follow through those questions. So I will ask you to do that, and I will try my best with humble. बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद, बहुत बहुत प्रणाम. Yes, please.
नमस्ते चतुर्वेदी जी, बहुत ही सुंदर सेशन था. I have learned something new today that you said last में कि पैरों में विष्णु है, और दो बातें और आपने बोली थी. एक बार अगर आप रिपीट कर दिए, आई थिंक बहुत लोगों के लिए ये नई इंफॉर्मेशन हो सकती है. थोड़ा इलैबोरेट कर दीजिए प्लीज. थैंक यू.
यस यस, बहुत सुंदर आपका प्रश्न है. हम आपको जो है कंचे बहुत बहुत प्रणाम, आपके चरणों में वंदन करते हैं. तो हिंदी अंग्रेजी दोनों बोल सकते, हिंदी भी बोल सकते हैं.
यस प्लीज.
जी हिंदी में ही बताइएगा.
अच्छा अच्छा ठीक है, हिंदी में बताते.
आपको सादर प्रणाम.
यस, देखिए ये बहुत अद्भुत आपने प्रश्न जो है कंचे पूछा है, और ये बहुत बहुत अद्भुत प्रश्न है. इसको थोड़ा सा और चिंतन करते हैं. देखिए, जहाँ गति स्वरूप है, जहाँ गति है, मोशन है, और मोशन के लिए क्या फोर्स चाहिए, एक्शन चाहिए, कर्म चाहिए. कर्म का जो है एक स्वरूप ये है कि उसमें गति होनी चाहिए. बिना गति के कर्म को हम डिफाइन नहीं कर सकते. और गति का स्वरूप क्या है? परिवर्तन, मॉडिफिकेशंस, चेंजेस. आप देख रहे हैं सब कुछ ब्रह्मांड में गतिमय है. इस सृष्टि जो है गति से शुरू हुई है, कर्म से ही शुरू हुई है. अगर गति न होती, कर्म न होता, तो सृष्टि न होती. और सृष्टि क्या है? हम आप अंदर भी सृष्टि को बहन कर रहे हैं, अंदर धारण किए हुए हैं. और इसीलिए जब जो है आप धर्म की बात करेंगे, तो सबसे पहले धर्म की दो स्वरूप प्रकट होते हैं. देव स्वरूप, अग्निदेव धर्म के धारण करने वाले, और विष्णु स्वरूप धर्म को धारण करने वाले. तो जहां गति है, जहां कर्म है, वहां गति है, और जहां गति है वहां विष्णु है. अगर पैरों के द्वारा गति है तो भगवान विष्णु वहां भी वास करते हैं. अगर मन के द्वारा गति है तो भगवान विष्णु वहां भी वास करते हैं. तो इसी तरह जो शूद्र का स्वरूप बताया गया है, शूद्र का स्वरूप वो है जो कि बाकी स्वरूपों को, जो ब्राह्मण और ये ब्राह्मण, क्षत्रिय, वैश्य, शूद्र के जो धर्म बताए गए हैं, वो आपको ये भी बता दें, आगे चल के उसको डिस्कस करेंगे डिटेल में. सिर्फ गृहस्थ आश्रम में इनका अस्तित्व जो है रह जाता है, महत्ता रह जाती है. ब्रह्मचर्य आश्रम, वानप्रस्थ और संन्यास में इनका स्वरूप जो है कंची डिसअपियर हो जाए. पूरे योग सिद्धांत में मैंने योग का जो है कंची बहुत चिंतन किया है. पूरा समग्र योग में कहीं भी वर्ण व्यवस्था को, जो आप ये ब्राह्मण, क्षत्रिय, वैश्य, शूद्र, इनको प्रमुखता नहीं दी गई है. जहां पर भी मेंशन हुआ है वहां पर ये मेंशन हुआ है अपनी अपनी योग्यता अनुसार. आप इस योग को कर सकते हैं, आप इस योग को वहन कर सकते हैं, आप इसको को ग्रहण कर सकते हैं.
चतुर्वेदी जी, ये तो बहुत ही अद्भुत रहा, बहुत ही सुंदर.
आगे इसको और बहन जी हम बताएंगे, आगे इसको बहुत विस्तार करेंगे, और हर डायमेंशन पर जो है कंची हम थोड़ा चिंतन करेंगे. और जितना जो है कहना चाहिए, और ये फिर ये भी चिंतन करेंगे कि ये जो वर्ण है वो कास्ट कैसे बन गया
जी,
ये भी चिंतन करेंगे. और वो हमारा चिंतन, उसमें ये भी हम आपको इशारा कर दें कि उसमें, उस चिंतन में जो है कि दो प्रमुख स्वरूप रहेंगे. एक बाहरी स्वरूप, एक अंदर का स्वरूप. ठीक है. अच्छा,
तो एक टिप्पणी और करके मैं रखूंगी, मतलब मैं बात खत्म करूंगी. तो आपकी इस बात से मुझे आज ये नया बात समझ में आई है कि जब शूद्र बोलते हैं तो उसका मतलब लोअर भी पार्ट ऑफ द बॉडी भी हो सकता है. इट जस्ट मींस लोअर पार्ट ऑफ द बॉडी, डजंट मीन नहीं तो बिना पैरों के तो हम अपाहिज हो जाएं.
बिल्कुल ठीक बात. बिल्कुल ठीक बात. Lower part body does not mean it has become what you call it has to be rejected. It has become mean. It has become derogatory. It has no. This is not the meaning. Actually, बिना लोअर पार्ट के, बिना पैरों के आपके बाकी 3 पार्ट हैं वो गति नहीं कर सकते हैं, गतिहीन हो जाएंगे, कर्महीन हो जाएंगे, आपको गति नहीं होगी. प्लीज चलिए.
हाँ, नेक्स्ट इज योगेंद्र कुमार जी. योगेंद्र कुमार जी, यू कैन अनम्यूट योरसेल्फ, आस्क योर
जी सर, आदर प्रणाम सर. बहुत अच्छा आपका प्रेजेंटेशन रहा. मैं सर जो है बहुत प्रसन्न हूँ. और सर आपने सोल के जो बहुत सारे जर्मन से लेकर के डिफरेंट जो है माइथोलॉजीज में या फिलोसफीज में क्या नाम दिया गया है, स्पाइरेटस वगैरह लेकर करके, बहुत अच्छा सर आपने उसको कलेक्ट किया है सर. मैं दूसरी चीज मैं सर कहना चाहूंगा, इसी में ऐड करना चाहूंगा सर जो है, यदन्ने ना तिरोहत, ये काज और इफेक्ट रिलेशन है. और सर यहीं से सर सृष्टि की प्रक्रिया पूरी जो है बताई जा रही है.
ठीक बात.
और 1/4 + 3/4 इक्विवेलेंट 1 मोनिज्म है. और यूनिक है. ये फ्रैक्शन में सबसे पहले नारायण ने ही सर इस्टेब्लिश किया है जो है. तो मैं सर प्रणाम कर रहा हूं.
आपकी बात से बिल्कुल पूरी तरह सहमत हूँ. एक्चुअली 1090 इतना अद्भुत है कि उसमें टाइम, concept of time, concept of numerals, concept of mathematics, concept of the music, a lot of things are really embedded in it.
मुझे सर मैं अपना इस पर एक नरेशन बनाता हूं कि टोटल इंडियन जो सिस्टम है, फिलोसफिकल सिस्टम है, वो पुरुष सूक्त पर टिप्पणी है जो है.
पुरुष सूक्त पर एक्चुअली टिप्पणी नहीं है, पुरुष सूक्त का विस्तार है.
जी, वो परंपराओं में अलग अलग जो लोगों ने कहा एक्सपेंशन है, नो डाउट, लेकिन उसी का क्लैरिफिकेशन किया गया है.
यस, पर बहुत विस्तार उसका बहुत अद्भुत विस्तार है. और उसी अद्भुत विस्तार को आगे ले जाएंगे.
जी, बहुत अच्छा लगा सर. बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद सर. मैं सर बड़हलगंज गोरखपुर से हूँ सर जो है.
योगेंद्र जी, हम बिल्कुल आपको आशीर्वाद मिलता रहे, यही आपसे.
नहीं सर, आपका आशीर्वाद मिला सर. धन्यवाद सर.
नलिनी जी,
सा बोलना चाहता हूँ. Can I take few minutes?
Nalini ji is next. We are going in order.
Okay.
Nalini Vanaparthi. Yeah.
Namaste Chaturvedi ji. Are you able to hear me?
Yes.
Namaskar.
So I have one question from Srimad Bhagavatam. Right? I think everything is interpretation. In Srishti, there is basically Daivasura, right? 2 threads of thinking. There is a Daivam thinking, there is also Asura thinking.
That is correct.
So in Srimad Bhagavatam, there is like in the first skanda, there is a sloka describing like, the impact of time, right? So basically in the Kali Yuga, right, the impact of time was described as Shudras ruling, right? And everything else good. So now again, obviously there is a lot of room for misinterpretation, right? So now I think here when we are telling Shudra, it probably refers to Asurics pravrittis, right? So I think a important understanding is the concept of Shudra, Brahmana is also dependent of gunas, which are also a function of time. I do not know. So maybe if you can elaborate and give us a right understanding of, in the context of this sloka in Srimad Bhagavatam.
It's a great question, and I'm going to elaborate in further sessions. But right now I will tell you this is how misinterpretation goes. The totality, every age, जिसे कहते हैं देश काल, every age has its own uniqueness. It is spelled out various locations, including Srimad Bhagavatam. इस युग में शूद्र जो है कंची वो राजा बनेंगे. It does not mean that the Sudras are the Asuras. It does not mean that at all. It simply means that in every age, Brahman will be Raja sometimes the Kshatriyas, sometimes the Vaisyas, and sometimes the Sudras. Everyone will get turns. But unless we define what those Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaisya, Sudras are, we will not be able to answer that question correctly. So Then another very important, aspect I'm going to talk about is in the same relationship. When we talk about the Sur and Asur Vritti, we are talking about the Vritti, Sur Vritti, Asur Vritti. When we talk about Dev Danav, Dev Vritti, Danav Vritti. Okay. In all these classifications and categorization, Sat, Raj, Tam exist in different proportions and different times. Not only that, if you go to the 10.129, actually, जहां सत और असत की बात हुई है, जहां देवासुर संग्राम की बात, जहां वेद को ले, ये वेद जो है क्योंकि जब कहते हैं तो वेद में बड़ी अद्भुत बात है। बहुत से देवता, चाहे वो जो है अग्निदेव हों, चाहे आपके जो है इंद्रदेव हों, चाहे वरुण देव हों, वो पहले असुर कहलाते थे। असुरों से सुर वृत्ति का प्रादुर्भाव हुआ। ये बड़ा भारी पैराडॉक्स है। आई एम नॉट गोइंग टू टॉक अबाउट राइट नाउ, बट एज वी गो अलोंग वी विल आल्सो इंक्लूड सम ऑफ दीज एस्पेक्ट कि ये कैसे हो गया। वेद कहते हैं सत का प्रादुर्भाव असत से हुआ, और वही जो है क्योंकि उपनिषदों में बाद में हो जाता है ऐसा नहीं हो सकता, सत का प्रादुर्भाव ही सत से हुआ। ये बड़ी अद्भुत दृष्टि है। हमने उसके ऊपर एक जो है क्योंकि अभी रिसर्च पेपर हमारा पब्लिश आ रहा है। तो एनीवे बहुत सुंदर बात है, इसको एलोबरेट करेंगे, लेकिन इन द टाइम बीइंग आई एम जस्ट गिविंग यू लिटिल फ्लेवर। थैंक यू सो मच।
Thank you so much. Pranamam.
As we go to the next question, we'll take maybe 3 or 4 more questions. But the purpose of the whole series or the course is to engage the outside world. The purpose is not just to come and listen to the lecture and then do nothing. So the knowledge, the information that you gain from here, utilize that to engage the others. Like for instance, somebody says caste system should be eliminated. Then how do you respond to that? And you may not get it right, but you have to engage the other. So let's just continue. Indrani Ram
Yes.
sir.
Professor, thank you very much for that enlightening presentation. I am 4th generation born in the Caribbean. We have lost Jati and Kul and so on, but we are very strong Hindus. So I'm not sure if my question relates to this session or maybe another one, but the question before us in America and the Caribbean, the Western world, is caste essential to my identity? We in the Caribbean will say no, except you want to be a Purohit. Then they say, oh, you must be born Brahmin. But that also is changing now because people are rejecting the born Brahmin status and they are becoming Purohits through training. I would be very pleased to hear your words on this.
Yes, this is, there are 3 very important variable fields. There are 3 important variable fields. Janm, birth, with hereditary characteristics. It means you bring with you, based on the past karmas, based on your parents that you're born, some kind of sanskar, one thing. Second thing is your subhav, what your nature, dominant nature that appears when you become adult. What kind of karma? So the birth, guna and karma, there are 3 fields of forces and actions. They interact with each other. Under contemporary situations, the identification in the real world based on the birth has lost its meaning and purpose. Only the karma and guna stay in place. However, even guna, how can I, if I come across a person in the society, how can I even know their gunas? What kind of characteristics they have? I do not know unless I interact. How can I classify you based on the gunas? You see the problem? Who will identify? Who is the master controller who will identify all the characteristics of a human being based on the gunas? That's the one serious question. So then, how about the karmas? Yes, karmas that you are either busy with, they are observable more definitely than the gunas comparatively. So that's the karmas. So that's why you have what you call so many organizations, so many, if you look at in the US, for example, workers' unions. You work in the steel industry, you have one kind of union. You work in the cloth industry, you have another kind of service industry, you work another kind of union. So the grouping will always be there. Regrouping will always be there. And one person can belong to several groups. Preferential treatment based on the caste. Okay. Preferential treatment or reservation based on the caste and based on the birth have really no meaning in the present times. It has lost its meaning. It has no longer relevance because there's no one who can describe you. But those who think they are from Brahmana and their karma is Brahmana, Janma is from Brahman family and their gunas are Brahmana, they are definitely call themselves to be Brahmana, but they have not to be categorized formally by any external authority who you are. Next thing, there is another problem. Each one of us, no matter what you identify with, will have Sat, Raj, and Tamas. There's only duality in the Western world, good or bad. In Hindu tradition, we do not have a duality in this aspect. We have the what we call triple ideas. Sat, Raj, Tam. And everyone has those Sat and Raj, Tam. And depending upon the time, depending upon the circumstance, depends on the pur sanskar, depending on the karma, depending on the gana, so many fields interact to bring you at one time, whether you are satogul pradhan or you are rajogul pradhan or you are tamogul pradhan. Even the Sat, Raj, Tam varies in each one of us. You observe carefully from morning to evening. So we will continue this discussion as we go along defining these ideas, but you do not have to, as far as my a bold statement is concerned, the caste. You can have varna, but not the caste.
Yeah, let's move on to the next one. So just one quick comment on Indraniji's question because it's relevant. So Indraniji says that there is no caste in like Caribbean Indian community, or let us say Fiji, or even the US. But if you remember a person by the name of Mahendra Chaudhary in Fiji, what happened? The guy wins an election and still loses political power, right? Why did that happen? So you have to think of these questions. Your political life in Caribbean countries is dominated by the left. You know, you can win elections, but you still lose power. So that indicates something. That indicates a deficit. Now, you know, you can argue that yeah, you need to do something, but you know, why have this notion of caste and jati? But you know, Kshatriya or Kshatritva comes with the Vedic training. It's required just to have the guts to stand in on a street and face a mob. That requires not everybody can do that. And speaking up in the parliament, for instance, we just recently there was a elections in Guyana. So just because you find this notion of caste undesirable, let us not assume that it's it's not needed anywhere. Let's not obviate the need for it and then just reinvent and then get into a predicament of political disempowerment or even economic disempowerment. So you need, all I'm saying is that, don't get into that comfort zone of that, oh, you have eliminated caste system in the Caribbean. There are going to be ill effects to that. Okay, let's go to the next one. Vikram Tomar ji.
जी प्रणाम गुरुवर जी।
प्रणाम।
प्रणाम। मेरी आवाज सुशिष्ट है?
हाँ बिल्कुल ठीक।
अच्छा, हाँ, आपसे थोड़ा सा ये जानना था कि जैसे कि मतलब कि समझ लीजिए कि मेरा जन्म प्रथम बार एक इंसान के रूप में हुआ है। हाँ, तो ये मुझे कैसे मालूम पड़ेगा कि मैं किस वर्ना में जा रहा हूँ, किस कास्ट सिस्टम में जा रहा हूँ, या फिर किस गुणों में से मैं दूसरी योनियों से होते हुए पहला इंसान का जन्म ले रहा हूँ? तो ये कैटेगराइज कैसे होगा? ये गॉड कैसे करेगा, या फिर आत्मा किस तरीके से सिलेक्ट होगी?
या ये जो है काफी इन्वॉल्व प्रश्न है, इसमें बहुत सारे डायमेंशन हमें चाहिए। सबसे बड़ी बात यह है कि आप जब जन्म ले रहे हैं, आपको पता नहीं है कि आप पिछली किन किन योनियों से गुजर चुके हैं, ये आपको पता नहीं। अच्छा, और हर योनि में, चाहे आप जो है किसी जानवर की योनि में हो, किसी जो है पशु पक्षी की योनि में हो, किसी भी योनि में हो, आपके पास सच रजतम तो हमेशा साथ में रहेगा
जी।
और इट्स क्वाइट लाइकली कि हो सकता है किसी योनि में आप मानव रहे हों, फिर उसके बाद जो है लोअर एनिमल वर्ल्ड में चले गए हों। ऐसी बहुत सी कथाएं हमारे पुराणों का स्वरूप यही है कि विभिन्न तरह की कथाओं के द्वारा बताया गया है कि मानव के अंदर कितनी डाइवर्सिटी है और कहाँ से कहाँ जा सकता है। तो हो सकता है जो है आप जो है भागवत में कथा आती है, उसमें जो है वो कितने बड़े जो है साधक योगी और जो हिरण का जो है उन्होंने शरीर धारण किया, लेकिन उनको याद रहा अगली बार जो है करना चाहिए वो जो है वो ब्राह्मण पैदा हुए, वो भी मूक रहे। तो इस तरह की बहुत सी कथाएं आपको मिलती हैं, जिससे ये आप इन्फर कर सकते हैं कि यस, हमें जो आज जन्म मिला है, आप अपने को पहचानिए। ऐसे फर्स्ट थिंग, वेदों में ये सबसे बड़ी बात कही है। वेदों का मतलब जो है समग्रता की बात कर रहे हैं, उसमें उपनिषद आ जाते हैं, पुराण आ जाते हैं, इतिहास आ जाते हैं, स्मृतियां आ जाती हैं। आजकल जो वैज्ञानिक जगत जो हम आगे बताएंगे किस तरह से अनफोल्ड हो रहा है कि you carried that information with you, but you have forgotten. Now what you are, you can find out by examining yourself by yourself. इसको आत्मचिंतन करने से हमारी वृत्ति क्या है, हमारा स्वरूप क्या है और कैसे बदल रहा है और कैसे हम बदल सकते हैं, यही सारा योग का स्वरूप जो है बहुत बहुत अद्भुत है। इसको आगे बात करेंगे। तो you will not know really what varna you belong to unless you examine yourself based on some of the indicators which are given in the Vedic wisdom tradition. If you behave like this, if you think like this, if you act like this, you pursue like this, कर्म ऐसा करेंगे, ज्ञान ऐसा, आपका जो सोचना ऐसा, व्यवहार आपका ऐसा है, तो आप क्या हैं और क्या बन सकते हैं, ये आप अपने को आइडेंटिफाई करने की कोशिश कर सकते हैं। But these identification again are the fluidic identification. Just like you have a wave, okay, you have a wave, sa. You have a wave. If you see the wave here, and the sa is the peak. So this is you will see the peaks in your characterization, in your understanding, in your personality, and those will define what you are moving into and what you are, what you can be. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you. 3 more questions and then we'll be done. So next is Anushka ji.
Hello, namaste. Thank you for this interesting and elaborate talk. I really enjoyed it. I was hoping that you can maybe elaborate on Srishti, because you made a differentiation between emanation and creation. And
yeah.
I am not familiar with this because I never thought about our faiths, our dharma's origins in terms of, evolution. Unlike the Abrahamic ones, where they have a very orderly fashion of, they have Adam and Eve, and then everybody came from there.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. It's a great question. Let me elaborate it for a few minutes. Rajiv ji will allow me to do that.
Yes, sure.
Yes, I have a lot of slides here, which I don't want to bother you right now, but I will give you a few later on. We'll bring more, information. You are, suppose I gave you the idea of the watchmaker. I am, for example, pot maker, or I'm cooking a food. Okay, let's go basic. I'm cooking a food. I'm cooking a food as soon as, and I know the techniques, I know the recipe, I know the process, I know how to do it, and I am making this food. Now, what you made food for? You made food for eating. Okay, but when I ask you, are you the food? How will you answer? I'm not the food. I'm an eater of the food. I'm not the food. I'm eater of the food. Once I prepare the food, food are separate, fundamentally separate entity. Okay, this is what the creation is. All activities that we create, I am not that activity. I am not that object. I created that object. That's called the creation.
Okay.
Emanation is, no, out of myself, when I define I became the food. I became the food, or I created the food and I entered into the food. So this separation is, fundamental separation is not there in the Srishti concept. इसलिए जब आपको दिखता है, when you see outside, we are separated. Look at the baby is born in the a human, a mother is bearing a baby, but baby is not the mother. This is mother and baby are interconnected, integrated till the baby comes out of the womb, and the separation starts taking place. You see, then how do I relate? Am I the baby? No, baby is different. I am different, yet we are integrally connected. We are integrally connected. So this is the a kind of analogy. An analogy always had not a perfect analogy. They say always analogies have variations from good to bad, from 1% to 99%. So the baby is born to you, is integrally connected to you, but you are not the baby. Am I making clear? So these are the separation and identification takes place. And the Srishti is this concept of that the one became, I became. Bhagwan Krishna Geet Bhagavad में कहते हैं, hey, the Uddhav ji, the whole Srishti, I am the first. This is avatar of me. I emanate the whole cosmos out of myself. I do palan of myself by myself. I dissolve myself by myself within myself, yet I remain beyond and above all this Srishti. These are the fundamentally wonderful paradoxes and dimensions which are part of the Srishti tradition. Creation is fundamentally different. So I created in my food, what I eat it or I throw it out. So the God created the universe and the nature, we are fundamentally separate. Okay, there is no relationship except we create a relationship through faith only, that's it. And therefore the created things by God has to be subjugated, it has to be exploited, it has to be tamed, it has to be overcome. It is for our use. We do not have such idea. We have idea that we are part of the nature and nature is part of me. We have to work together, we have to live together, we have to integrate together, We had to do yoga together, go back to the original source, and this is called the Leela. They do not have a concept of Leela. Why the world is there to begin with, the other traditions do not have a good answer as we have the answer because of the concept of Srishti.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. So this question always comes up in so-called interfaith dialogues. So
Yes.
with this differentiation, I hope all of you or many of you will be able to stand up to a Muslim or a Christian or a Jew and explain them the difference between the creation that is there in the biblical or the Judaic line, Islamic line, differentiate with the Dharma traditions. Correct? So,
and I have already these slides, Rajiv ji. So next time I will also present these slides.
Right.
The concept of Srishti and concept of creation versus emanation.
Right. That was wonderful. I see one more hand, Richa ji.
Namaste, namaste. Good morning to everyone. So very beautiful and philosophical discussion. Matlab Hindu Dharma ka real core is this philosophy, and I'm so glad we are listening to you, sir. मैं ये कहना चाह रही हूँ कि जो ये जाति वर्ण का एक जो कॉन्सेप्ट है और कास्ट जो उसके ऊपर सुपर इम्पोज हुआ है, उसकी वजह से यूएस में, और हम जैसे मैं यूएस में रहती हूँ, तो वो एक जो इश्यू हो जाती है कि यहाँ पे कास्ट के साथ हम बहुत एसोसिएट करते हैं हिंदूज को, तो आजकल तो काफी लीगल और पॉलिटिकल इशू भी हो गया है ये. So I was wondering, अगर आप उसके ऊपर कुछ टिप्पणी करना चाहें कि how do we tackle it? Is there a nuance that we can use and speak in? क्योंकि हमारा जो religion है या धर्म है वो बहुत philosophical है, और we cannot put it in couple of sentences here and there.
That is right.
When we come to these kind of literally battles that are being fought in political councils. So I wanted you to just give me that a little bit of give us that insight. How do we focus on some nuances so that caste gets dissociated from us and jati varna uske upar hum kuch focus la sake ki there is a positivity to it, and also the fact that Indrani ji ne jo kaha tha ki the temple priests were all Brahmins. In fact, Bali mein, Caribbeans mein, even in South India, I've seen that there is no such rule ki Brahmin hi hona chahiye by birth. Shudra or all people are allowed to sort of conduct temple ceremonies. So that I had two questions actually.
Yes, I agree with you. See, this is what very important question you have raised. Question depends on the classification in Indian tradition has gone through, Hindu tradition has gone through different, based on the fundamentals of the existence. What is your qualification? Suppose I am not qualified, if I say, well, I want to perform the surgery on a patient. Am I qualified to do the surgery? I'm not. Will you call the discrimination? No. It means you are misusing the language and ideas. So it is only based on the qualification and qualities that the kind of responsibility you want to be assigned for. So in just one simple comment, the caste as such idea was imposed long ago on the jati and varna. Jati is a genus, we do the jati all the time in the biological world. We do jati in the classification of the material world all the time. The table, look at the table. What is more important? Hydrogen, oxygen is more important, or the carbon is more important? Tell me. Oxygen is more important because without which we cannot survive, we cannot live. There is no life without oxygen. Do you see what I'm talking about? So the classification in Hindu Vedic wisdom has been done based on the what is required and what properties you had to have in order to be assigned that particular action. So the under modern context, the concept which are imposed on Jati Varna, on Hindu tradition by others, including our own self, internally and externally, the concept of the caste is totally irrelevant. It has to be taken out of the whole thought process.
Okay. Yeah, so we are closing in, already gone over. So we look forward to the next session. I just want to reiterate that the purpose here is to build capacity and capability. So if anyone is interested in pursuing further studies, and especially under the guidance of Professor Chaturvedi, you can volunteer yourself. It will be hard work. There are no shortcuts here. You know, you will be doing it for the society here. You're not going to get any academic credit or you know, kudos for your scholarship, but this scholarship is very much needed because of the complexity of this subject. So if anyone is interested in pursuing this field, please volunteer yourself, and then we'll set you up with in some academic form, so that you know, you will be able to do your own research and also advocacy. Like, we need people to go to this any place, you know, so-called interfaith dialogues, or write a rebuttal, write a column. You know, there are so many, you know, so much democratization has happened in the, you know, the expression space. You can just write a column and, you know, it will get hits. So what to write, you know, how to derive this, how to counter these accusations that are flung over without compromising the fundamentals and the foundations of dharma. That's the objective. So if anyone is interested, please ping us, and we'll get you set up with teachers.
Rajiv ji.
Yes.
So Rajiv ji, one quick request.
Right.
Harilal Patel ji जो है अपना हाथ उठा रहे हैं, क्या can he ask a question?
Yes, yes, yeah. Last question. Harilal ji.
Please allow him to.
I'm not going to ask any question right now because I am requesting for about 10 minutes of talk on origin of Jati or Varna in the next session. And same time, I would request the email address of Chaturvedi ji so we can communicate with him even before that.
It's given in the invite. If you go to that Eventbrite invite, it's listed at the very bottom, and you can just simply respond to that Eventbrite invite, and we'll respond back to you.
And I will give you my phone number to everyone.
Right.
Okay, say WhatsApp number, so you can communicate with me. Then I can, discuss with you. My phone number is 614 284.
61, sir. Can you repeat it?
Yeah, 614.
phone number नहीं
या +1 लगा देंगे तो हमारा जो है क्योंकि आपका व्हाट्सएप नंबर भी है, ये व्हाट्सएप नंबर है 614 284 1174.
अभी ये बोलेंगे फिर करना.
Yeah, type. It's
yeah, that's
in
right.
your chat.
That's right. 614-284-1174. Yes.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
राजीव जी आप भी कुछ बोलिए ना कास्ट पे.
7.
Okay, thank you very much, Chaturvedi ji. We'll look forward to the next session. We are out of time today. Thanks everybody, and until we meet next. Namaskar.